welcome you to the Priscilla R. Tyson Cultural Arts Center for our Conversations and Coffee on this 29th day of May 2025. When I introduced the Priscilla R. Tyson Cultural Arts Center, just know that often I will talk with her on the phone, and she is a delight. She just agreed to do the Franklin University graduation at the Convention Center June 1st. So I said, we'll be with you, as we are every Thursday, celebrating her contribution through the arts. And that's why the Cultural Arts Center is named after Priscilla R. Tyson. And I'm Ellen O'Shaughnessy, coordinator of the program, and we are delighted to have with us today father and son, Owen and Evan. And Owen is an artist in Moneygami. That is folding paper currency, dollar bills into pieces of art. And with Owen, as I've said, is his son, Evan, a juggler. And his father, yes, is sharing his talent in juggling with him today. Owen Smith has been making origami art from currency for about 29 years. He initially started making origami from standard square origami paper. He made the origami from paper instructions by following the diagrams. These types of instructions can be found at the local library, bookstore, online. These books have instructions coded using terms like mountain and valley folds. Today, Owen makes almost all of his origami from currency. He primarily uses $2 bills. After making the origami, he hands them out for tips. His favorite constructions for tips include hearts, butterflies, boats, frogs, and elephants. And he does frequent a couple of restaurants where the waiter's normally the same person. So in those cases, he looks up a new origami and makes construction ahead of time. How thoughtful, for all those waiters who work so hard. Owen's background is in the area of manufacturing small sensors and transducers. Most of the products are produced using metal parts. The parts are produced using several different processes, including stamping, screw machines, and welding. Other than folding origami, Owen's hobbies include juggling and spinning tops. Isn't this amazing to have a father and son team produce such talent and share and bring to us the joy of being with us? And Evan is so modest. He's saying, oh, no, yeah, it's my dad that we want to focus. But we bring into a partnership here because Dad was telling us how he was teaching his son these arts about age 6, huh? Yeah, great. Well, take it away.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
well, thank you. So this is my presentation, and I'll do some demonstrations for you. So this is Moneygami, and this is actually my more favorite construction that I make, but it takes me a while to make it. So occasionally I'll make it here and there, and I try to make it about at least once a month so I remember how to fold it. It took me quite a while to finally work on how to fold it. Some of the diagrams I can learn and would learn, and I wouldn't really have to repeat very many times to learn it, but this one, for some reason, it took me a long time to do it. Where's my demonstration thing here? So why origami? I'll just go through this. And so origami is fun. I really have a good time doing it. Folding paper into an object is rewarding, and making a heart or a dog or a house from paper will challenge your mind, and it's really to learn it and gives you a good spatial relationship. It'll amaze your friends, and usually impress the waiter or waitress, whoever is serving you at the time, which is where I usually give my artwork away to. You can also decorate the house. I've been in people's houses where they actually make origami, and they'll have like whole herds like elephants or giraffes or whatever that they wanted, or whatever happens to be their favorite object, we'll say. Maybe they like snakes or something, I don't know. But anyway, they'll be all over the house. Sometimes they'll be bigger, like the one way over in the corner there. And but other times it'll just be like a single design, like a tetrahedron, an octahedron.
That present, that gift-like look? Which one is the way over in the corner one you were talking about?
That one turned out to be a little fragile, and so I had to tie it together so it stays together. And plus the waitresses and waiters and waitresses are generally pretty happy to give something other than just a standard tip. And a lot of times they'll actually keep it. If I come back like a month later or something and I have to remember I gave them something, but generally they'll keep it and post it on the board or post it at home, or sometimes they'll just display it at the place wherever I gave it to them at. So.
Are you giving them Moneygami at that point? You give them the full?
Yeah, I just give it to them as a tip. Like if the bill is like $10, and so $2 is a 20% tip. If it's a little more or less, I don't worry about it. Like if it's $25, or I'll say like $15, I still give them pretty much just a $2 tip because of the effort that I put into it. But I'll generally fold it on the spot, that I just go and I got like maybe 8 to 10 that I have a standard memorization that I can just pick depending upon what I want to do.
Bills work better, right? Crisper bills work better.
Yeah, they're all bills.
They're all crisp. They're all the new. They feel like they're new bills. They're new.
I get fairly new. I try to get uncirculated ones, but generally they sometimes have a use, and if they're too far worn and I think that they're abused, then I just spend them. I claim I'm giving them away, but I just spend them for whatever I'm buying at the time. I go to the dollar store and I can buy 2 things, except it's $1.25 now. So this is one of my creations, is a windmill. Most of my creations now I do it off of the videos on YouTube. Sometimes I'll have manual instructions and some folding instructions and flat sheet instructions on some of the places, and sometimes I do take my designs out of the books and stuff. So Moneygami is folding origami from standard United States, or at least for me, United States bills. You can fold it out of any of the bills, the $5 bills, $10 bills, if you got a bigger tip that you want to do, or if somebody graduates and you want to give them $50, you can make them the $50 thing. And then the thing is that if it gets too high, they might just take it apart and spend it. But that's why I just try to do easy ones, and then I don't have a lot of effort into them. So the origami comes from Japanese, which is basically the art of folding flat materials. They also, I'll cover that later. So I'll go through some examples, but we have dogs and cats and boats and geometric objects, wherever he went off to. So here's a sailboat. I'm going to do a demonstration here on folding a sailboat.
Other than the United States bill, have you ever used Like
Foreign.
from foreign currency, like from Great Britain or France or.
What's that?
Do you ever use other countries' money?
Okay.
Money from other countries?
I don't do that. I do have a little blurb in here about other denominations, but generally I just give it away to the people. If you give them a Canadian $5 bill, they're gonna have to turn around and turn it in or whatever. The Canadians actually got a clear spot through them. I haven't actually folded any of them, but they actually have a clear spot through them, and I'm not sure how well those actually fold.
The Pope got a $2 bills coming out with the Pope.
Let's have you say.
Yes. I saw a picture of it, and it's vivid colors. The Pope, they're making a $2 bill in honor of the new Pope.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and I saw a picture of it yesterday online, and it's really gaudy, I would say. I hesitate to say that about the Pope, but.
Gaudy.
Oh. All right, anyway, it's very bright colors.
Okay.
I guess you can buy it. I don't know.
So see how much the bill is here. So here we go. So the first thing is to fold it in half. And then I'm folding up actually the shorter sail here. And then this will be the base of the boat. And then this is actually one of the half of the taller sail. Now the one thing that's a little different with dollar bill folding and origami folding is that the paper is a little thicker, and so it's a little more finicky in some respects, but it also is a lot more durable. So if you make a mistake, you can usually, or you want to change it a little bit, you can just go in and make the change fairly easily. So this is the other half of the tall sail. And so then we fold the sails up. And so that's the basic sail. And then in order to make the stand for it, kind of smooth things out a little bit. In order to set it up, I make a little stand for it. And there you go. Well, it's on a curved surface, but so it looks like that. And it sets up like that. Okay?
Oh, thank you.
Will it float?
What's that?
Will it float?
Will it?
The sailboat's supposed to tilt.
Excuse me?
The sailboat's supposed to tilt a little.
Yeah, it
With the
tilts a
wind.
little when the air blows on them. So, okay, so we're done. Okay, a quick history of origami. They think it was invented by Japanese a long time ago, 1,000 years ago. But there is some thought that they may have actually done it with cloth or leather. And actually cloth is done today where they'll actually fold napkins up when you go to the restaurants and they look fancy-dancy. Or there's a whole section on folding towels, and you can make bears and frogs and turtles and all this kind of stuff. They also use on bathroom tissue, quote, that you go to the hotels and stuff, and they'll be folded up just a little bit. So, and the fancier ones will have fancier origami. Oh, so here we go. Why don't cows have any money?
Oh.
They just chew it up.
So because the farmers milk them dry. Okay, so this is more origami. History, actually origami started out as a ceremonial for making for ceremonies and stuff. And but today it's mostly, quote, recreational origami, where you just kind of make it for yourself, or make it to sale, or make it to give away, or make it to decorate your home. And just a little fact is that when the first kindergarten was established in the 19th century, the origami became used as part of the education for them to learn how to read diagrams and this kind of thing. So this is a couple of hearts. This is actually a butterfly heart. I don't have an example of it today. It's kind of a little fragile to move around. You can give it away, but it isn't something I can really stick in my wallet.
You make it with $1 or $2 each of
These
them.
are $2 bills.
Each of them $2.
Yeah, here's the two here.
No, I mean you make it with 1 or 2.
With a $2 bill.
One bill.
2 pieces.
These are all $2 bills that I make them out of.
But is it taking one bill to make it or two bills to make it?
These are just one bill. Most of mine, everything I show you here, it'll be just a single bill, except for the ones that I'll tell you there are multiple bills. Hold on to that. We're going to have a demonstration here at the end, if we have the time. All right. So it's kind of interesting that the first published book on origami was back in like around the 1800s, and they had pieces that they showed in there in the book. And before that, as near as I can tell from what I read, was that they had to just pass this thing on from person to person, and there wasn't really that much in the way of demonstration or illustration. So then this Miguel wrote about paper folding, and then this area, he's really famous, paper folder, and really is the grandmaster of origami. And he really did a lot for the art. I have his name here in a little bit again. So here's an octahedron that I held up already. So he looks like that. Oh, that's right, you guys are. So I'll hold it still. They said I got to hold it still so you can see it in the camera. Okay? So again, the thing that's kind of amazing to me is that it wasn't until the 1950s or 60s that they actually had diagramming of origami. And the standard diagramming that they did, I don't have a book by him, but this is an example of some of the folds that are in there. And can you put that up on the screen? And I'll talk about it. So from what I can understand is that he basically did most of these beginning ones where you fold it and bring it back, or you fold it with the fold it and unfold it, and you repeat the fold and these kinds of things. So this is some of the different folds. I just have a selection if you want to come up afterwards. But this is a cardboard base, cupboard base. This is a valley fold, where you just take the piece of paper and you fold it in half. This is a white side and a green side, and it folds up like that, and then you unfold it. But sometimes you fold it up like on my, on the sailboat. This is a mountain fold, where you have a It looks like a mountain when you're done, and then this is the white side, and this is the top side. These are called bases. There's a whole bunch of these bases. This is a frog base. This is a fish base. This is a particular fold where you fold this thing into the cupboard thing position, and then you fold it back like that. I got another one that goes the other way. And then this would be, that's kind of an outside fold, and then this would be the inside fold. Okay, so we'll take and put these away, but it's kind of amazing to me that this notation wasn't really available until like 70 years ago, and how people actually developed stuff and passed on their art had to be basically word of mouth at that point.
Teaching in university now. Some major is origami. I think now they are teaching this kind of origami at university. I saw.
Universities and colleges are teaching this.
Yeah, there probably are.
Yes, they are.
I do have a section in there a little bit later, but yeah, we'll put this away. Where it's becoming a mathematical approach to develop these things. And Lang, which I actually have his book here, Robert Lang, he came up with these, I'll just do it this way, came up with all these models. He's really famous, but like for sending up like the Hubble and the Webb telescopes, you can't send the telescopes up full thing. You couldn't get them in the rocket ship. So they have an origami. Lang came up with an origami approach to fold up all the different little receivers in there. And then when they get out in space, of course, where Webb is at is halfway between us and the sun, and or maybe not halfway, but out there between us. And he came up with a method to be able to fold all these panels up. And then when they get up there, then they unfold. And they also need that for the photocells to pick up the energy in order to run the thing. And I'm not sure what else that they use on that, but it must be pretty fancy. They do have diagrams on the web for that. And show you how to do it. I was going to add that to there, but I got so many slides now, and so I had to skip some of the stuff. So anyway, they even with his explanation, and they came up with a couple other of rotate and zoom in. So here, I'll make a heart for you. I got a bunch of hearts up here, and so this is I probably made like a zillion of these things. All right, so again, it's just one bill. And so this actually doesn't follow. If you looked up on the web, they're going to have I won't say completely different way of doing it, but they're going to have a little different way. But I found that this worked a lot easier for me when I'm folding it. And I can line the folds up a little easier, especially like if I'm at a place that doesn't have a lot of lighting. It's kind of hard to see the center fold to line up to. And so this will be the bottom part of the heart. And then this is the top part of the heart. Now, I watch a lot of videos, and even in the videos, I kind of, it's really nice because you can kind of see the people's techniques, and you actually see that if they don't like where they're folded, they'll actually recrease them, and especially on the bills, you can't really see it. It's really takes quite a while. So there's your $2 heart. So
I noticed
got-
that, Owen, I noticed that the Buddhist tradition was written in there among some of the lettering. What relaxing feelings do you get doing this? I would be so preoccupied with how I'm turning this and doing this. How would I let go
Let
and
go.
enjoy the heart?
Oh,
What does it do for you?
I enjoy making them. Even stuff that I made a lot of times. Usually, you'll get to different diagrams and stuff, and sometimes you'll look at them and go like, "That's really interesting. I'd like to make that." And there'll be like hundreds to pick from out there, and then you'll make it, and it doesn't turn out so well. And so especially if I make it out of a $2 bill, I can take it someplace and give it to somebody. I'll dress it up a little, and if I like it, then I'll generally try to generally make like 2 or 3 or 4. And when you're making something, generally the first one isn't the most pristine one in the world, but they generally say about the third example that you get to will make it will be a lot better and more professional looking at that time. Now, again, on the dollar bills or the $2 bills, when you're folding them, and you mess the whole thing up, and even if you would actually rip it or something by mistake, you can still unfold it and take it down to the store and spend the sucker. You don't lose it. You don't lose anything.
What's important is you enjoy it. Huh?
So.
Anybody else have any comments here? No, I think it is enjoyable things to do.
Yes.
And refreshing, because you don't use any glue, any tape, and you just with folding and create other things. Yeah, I think it's enjoyable things.
Okay, again, as I kind of alluded to in the heart, my heart looks exactly like, or pretty much exactly like the original design. And the design intent or the model, original model. But some of these that I make, I don't really like how it looked. And so I'll give you an example here on this plane. On this particular plane, they wanted this folded more like what you would make an old paper airplane where everything's folded down to the nose. And I just decided it'd look a little better to be like this. So that's how I made it. There's other folds that are.
Does it fly?
I don't fly very well.
You don't fly? I'll give it back.
So you can give it your own flavor. And if for some reason the fold isn't coming out and you can make it kind of look like what it was, or it makes it what you want, it's your own artwork. Again, I talked about Robert Lang, and this is his book, and he's made several of these, and he really, I think this is off of a thing, but I think he really was pretty instrumental in the using computers to make these things. And again, he was really well known for all these figures. I don't know how he actually physically made a living, but he could have sold these. I'm not sure how he actually sold them. There are a lot of the origami is available online, and so I imagine he did fold them and sell them for a while. Certainly now that's all he's doing, at least according to the literature that I've read. And he's just working as a consultant to NASA, making whatever NASA needs made, whatever they need to send up into space and then unfold. Oh yeah, here you go. Why did the man put his money in the freezer?
He wanted cold cash.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, Bob.
Thanks, Eric.
So part of this I'll kind of divulge here a little bit, but when I was making the PowerPoint, I actually learned quite a bit making the PowerPoint slides and trying to present some of this material. But I'd start working on something or start looking at stuff, and I said, well, you know, how did the paper get made, you know, initially, and so then I start looking at stuff, and then I look at some of the processes, and they'd be talking about making paper this way, or there's this kind of paper, or that kind of paper, and I'll kind of cover that in a little bit. But I just get off track. And it was just so interesting reading some of this stuff, the different kinds of paper and stuff. There's like 90 different, well, the one website said that there's like 90 different styles of paper. And I'm sure there's actually more. But just reading and those, it was pretty interesting. So, but anyway, so originally they carved symbols in stone and clay tablets. Then probably everybody knows that papyrus was made in Egypt. I didn't really find an example online, but it must not have been a real handy material. But it was probably a lot better than clay. The true paper making was done in China, and then it came over to Europe, and Spain made the first real ones, and then it kind of developed from there. So here's one of my creations that I did that I was flipping through one day. I'll get these out. I was flipping through one day, and they had this paper design, this paper snake, and it actually kind of shoots. I don't know if I can display this too well, but you can kind of make it into an accordion, and then it'll shoot across. He's being grumpy. There you go. But you can shoot it across. But anyway, the original design was into standard origami paper, and then I switched the design over to the accordion design, and it took me two attempts. This was my first attempt. And so even though I kind of liked the design, I really only made like a couple of these for doing this.
That's your original design.
Yeah, those are technically the original designs. Here's another one. This is a standard origami dog. And this is probably the first one that I call it, I hacked it. And I'm looking at it, making the dog, and I'm going like, I can just make it out of a dollar bill. And so there's my accordion dog.
So you talk about the origami paper. Is it usually square or is it rectangle?
Most of the designs, models are out of square designs, and most of the origami paper that you do buy is square designs, but there is designs that are out of more like standard paper size. I think they call that A-size paper. That's 8.5 by 11. And 8.5 by 11, but they do use, I do have some smaller paper, which is more like Post-it notes, that I actually use for some of the designs. And then they have, this is like, what is that, 6 by 6, I think, 15 by 15 millimeters. And then they have like an 8 by 8 sheets that they do. And I don't think I have it in there, but they actually make stuff out of metal. Little metal foils, and then and things like that. There is different grades of paper. There's actually heavier paper, and there's real light paper. If you take the standard origami paper, like this, it's really light and it takes a fold really easily. Like these guys that I made the mountain folds and stuff out of, they were like flat. Whereas the heart that I made, he's a little, we'll say, not quite flat anymore. So you can probably read this as well. The basic method of making paper is they bring in the wood chips or the recycled paper / wood chips, and then they beat it up into a slurry. They refine it, and they have to screen it, and then they have quote cylindrical screens. It kind of takes out the stuff that they don't want to make into paper, and then they have a pressing process to get the water out, and then anything they can't press out, then they dry. Have a drying process, and then they have a smoothing process at the end, so that you have a different textures, and they have different grades. I don't think I have anything on grades, but like this stuff here is like really smooth, but your Xerox paper is going to be a little more coarse, and your paper that you got on paper boxes is going to be even more coarse. They also have a whole series of different thicknesses and different weights of the standard paper. So I think we'll get into it. So this is the $2 flags that I made. It's like that. And I made actually several of these, and I usually try to around July 4th or something, when or Memorial Day. Then I'll I'll crank out this design so I can give them away in tips. But again, this is another one that I can put in my wallet and take, and if I make a couple at home, I can just put it in the wallet and I take, and then I give it away as a tip when I go out. So here's my different types of paper, just to give a couple examples. You got newspaper. And here's a heart with a bow. For some reason, I didn't have that available. Here's a heart with a little different bow, a little different design that's there. And there's like a whole series of hearts that I made the heart. There's I got like 4 or 5 examples of hearts here. There must be at least 20 or 30 that I know. So we'll do tissue paper. And the interesting thing on what they call tissue paper is it included everything from your paper towels to your bathroom tissue, and they got, to me, remarkably different qualities. Like your paper towels you don't want to disintegrate, whereas the bathroom tissue, as soon as that goes down the drain, you want that sucker to vaporize. And so, but they classified in there, and then they're talking a little bit about origami paper. And so here's a fish. I'm going to make a fish for you.
Where you start your fold so you get the right design, like the fish has.
Yeah.
Do you plan where your folds are so that you get, like you have those people in the middle of the fish? So you have the design element, the printed design of the bill. Do you fold your paper? Do you pick the side where you start the folds so you get a specific picture?
Yeah.
Showing, like you've got this group of people here in the middle of the fish, on your fish that you have.
I generally I try to fold all mine with the green side showing. That's just the same as I use $2 to make it. It's just personal preference. So if I'm looking at a video and they're starting to fold the thing and I don't know how, I can't figure out, I go to the end of the video to see if I want to fold it the way that they're showing or if I want to build the other side around. Now, most of the videos that they have, you just follow along with the process. Here's I think I have this marked at the heart. This is actually the heart that I just made, and this shows the diagram in order to make the heart. They fold it in half, and then they fold to the center, and then you fold the bottom part, and then you fold the top with the ears, and then you fold the inside one, and you flip it over, and this is that I had made. So this is a physical diagram that goes through the diagrams. And then like another book here, I'll just pick one at random here. We'll go through more of a traditional approach where they'll show you that you're folding in along this line here, and you fold both sides in to make something like that. And then in this case, you're making a stag beetle. So that's the stag beetle. And so this is their process to, the stag beetle's over here. Okay, so this, you make the cup base, and then you just start folding it up, just following these diagrams. This is fold in and then fold out. So a fish actually starts out a lot like the boat does. We'll just make the fish and then we'll quit. I kind of like the fish. So again, I make it so mostly the green side is going to be out. And the first fold on the fish is actually, we'll say, quote, half of the tail or the tail part. And then you flip it over. This is kind of an interesting one because when you actually make this, usually like the heart, you only flip over like once. And this one you actually have to flip over like 3 times. So, and you don't really do that much when you're on that side. So then you're folding tail up so you have a tail. And then this is for the body. And then you're going to make the nose or the head. And voila, there's the fish. All right, so we'll quit here, and you ready to juggle? All right, and then we'll have questions. We actually answered a lot of questions, but.
Was that starfish difficult to make?
Yeah, the starfish, we like the starfish on the table. Yeah.
Okay, so usually Evan would do the talking, but since I'm the one that's mic'd up, you're gonna have to deal with me. So we're gonna get some different passing routines here. The standard passing is just throwing clubs from one person to the other, and it's kind of, they just refer to it as just throwing clubs at people. And so that's what you actually end up doing. And so, so the first pattern we're gonna do is probably the first one that you kind of learn, and this is called 4 count, where we're throwing every 4th club that hits our right hand to the other person. And there's a sequence that you go through that you kind of learn, so everybody does it pretty much the same way. So we're going to do 6 throws.
1, 2, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Wow.
So the second thing we're going to do is something called 3 count. So this, we throw one with our right hand and then one with the left hand. And it's on a 3-beat pattern, so that it ends up that the club that Evan's going to throw me, I'm actually going to throw back to him. And so this is 3 count.
Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, so this is a little faster. This is called 2 count. And this would be a lot what you'd see in the circuses, that they're going to throw, instead of, we'll say, casual passing of 4 count, where you kind of got to dwaddle around in between the throws. You're going to kind of whip everyone over to them. And then there's tricks and stuff you can do in there, but we have no ceiling height to work with here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Catch them out. Hey.
Okay, and this is probably the most difficult pattern that we do. This is called 1 count, and you're throwing actually every club all the time. It's technically a little slower than the others, but it's a lot more difficult.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Catch them out. Let's have
a volunteer step up. I mean, Inga,
No.
come on up here. Come on up, Inga. Stand right here and face the audience and wave goodbye to them. Alright, you're gonna stand real still because clubs are gonna be going in front of you and behind you like a tree.
Step up just a little.
Yeah, step up just a hair.
You'll be fine. Just keep your hands down your side and don't move. 6, 6.
4 count for 6 passes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Inga.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good job, brother, good job.
Did you guys know he could do
Okay, do you have any other questions?
Yes, we're interested in the starfish, the star. Here, we're interested in your starfish or your star on the table.
Rolling star.
It's just a star.
Yeah, well, we're interested in it.
It's this is a 5-pointed star. There's lots of stars that you can make. But this one I actually like the best. Some of them aren't real even or anything. And this one actually has a stand on the back. Now, the nice thing about this stand is you can fold it up, and again, I can still stick it in my wallet, and then I can unfold it. And then when I give it to somebody, it's there ready to go.
It's really beautiful because the design of the dollar bill makes a nice border around each of the points, and it makes from back here look 3-dimensional.
Okay.
So, yeah,
It is slightly 3-dimensional. This one I don't have memorized.
it looks
just
very
ma-
3-dimensional.
I just,
Now, have you ever taken that to Star Bank and to the bank? Isn't there a Star Bank? Isn't there a bank called Star? Yes. Well, why don't you go in there and they'd like that.
okay.
You know what I mean? Star Bank with your
Star Bank?
Star money. Yeah,
Okay.
might be worth a few tips.
I apologize for asking this question, but I came in late. Exactly, how did you get into origami? What drew you to it? I'm sure you probably already gone over it, but I came in a bit late.
Okay.
How did you get into this, and what
I-
in particular drew you toward it?
It was, I think it was about 20 years ago, or 29 was the quote. And I don't really remember when I first, maybe I saw somebody else doing it and had them show me. I was kind of familiar with it, I think, that I knew that there were books and stuff out on it, and I could go to the library or someplace and get a book to follow. And so when I go to the library and look for a book, is I generally, like most of these are actually all library books, is that I pick out the number that it has to do with the one book that I'm looking for. And then I just go over to that section of the library and I just look to see what else that they have. And hopefully I'm in a big enough library. But, anymore, everything's online. Online, so you can kind of look through a little easier online what's available.
You seem to be pretty fit, in good shape. Do you still do a lot of juggling and practicing, that kind of thing? Do you still practice?
Practice?
The juggling mostly.
Every week, I usually go to a club. Just Jugglers meets every week on Thursday night, tonight. And we're up at, what is it, Hope? We're up at a church up on Cook Road, First Hope, I think it's called. And so we meet at 6 o'clock and usually break around 7:30 or 8 and go out for pizza afterwards. We're juggling outside now as long as the weather's nice, but then in the winter, then we go inside the church, inside that church or a different church.
Well, when you juggle there, you can go high, right?
Well, yeah.
You go pretty high with the. And,
Yeah, you can throw whatever you want.
or
there.
outside, but it's different than this ceiling. I mean, you
Yeah.
have some, you can,
No, have it high at a church.
you said you couldn't go but so high in here with the pins, but,
It's like a standard gymnasium height.
okay.
And generally, you won't hit the ceiling. You could actually, some of the people could probably whip one up there and hit it, but there's a lot of patterns that are fairly high. A standard like 4-club pattern would be pretty tough here. Evan could do 4 clubs like in a height underneath these lights, but the standard 5-club pattern, you'd have to be in a lot bigger place. That's a big deal for a lot of the really good jugglers. You like one of the things they actually buy is old churches to live in, and then they have the sanctuary, and they go out, these are professional guys, and then they have the whole sanctuary, and they invite people over, and they can do whatever they want into the church. It's pretty amazing. There's a lot of videos on juggling that are also on that you can also look at. And we more than welcome you to come down to club. It's actually north, but come to club and we'll teach you how to juggle.
Do you juggle other things too besides the drumstick thingy? Turkey legs.
We do clubs and balls and rings. I do the throwing tops and unicycles is another big thing there. And there's, if you get into some of the more strange things, people do whips, and they do a Chinese dart, I think it is. Anyways, throwing darts, which is a 9-link, a standard 9-link thing, and you can actually throw and hit. Like if there's like a target on top of that table over there, they can throw and hit it. It's a defensive thing, but it can also be made into something that you just enjoy and do. Kind of like I forget the sticks that they ninja sticks, kind of like that. The people, they don't use them for defense. They just whirl them around and make them look fancy. It's just like another art form. And so people do that, and the whips too, ropes, hopping through ropes or spinning ropes, like you see in the cowboys. They usually have a demonstration on that at the different festivals. So it's pretty multi-pattern thing.
What do you juggle? What do you juggle, you two? Other items. What other items do you juggle?
What other items? I do balls and rings occasionally, and I do the throwing tops, and I do unicycles. I really do passing clubs mostly, and I will do some just standard tricks with clubs where I'm just doing it by myself. But the big thing is, especially when you go to a club, I mean, you can do tricks like doubles and triples or behind the back or whatever. You can do that you see in the circus, you can do that like at home. And when you go down to a club, the big thing is that you have other people there, and you can do passing between the people, the other people, like what we're doing here. And even though it was just a standard pattern here, you can have like a little weaving pattern where one person's standing here, and then he's throwing at 3 people that are weaving in a figure 8 type thing. Or you can do the egg beater pattern is the same thing where you have one person standing here, and they have 2 people going in a circle here and 2 people going in a circle here. And then as they go through the pattern, then this person over here passes to these people, and they're juggling in between, so they're actually busy, and they have to remember, oh, I throw now. And then they wander around their little circle and get to another place, and then they throw again. And so there's just a whole bunch of patterns that are like that.
What's that do for you? Is that fun?
It's challenging.
It's challenging.
It's fun. I mean, when you get the thing working, it's a lot of fun. And sometimes it's really like we were doing a different pattern last week, I think it was. And it was like we were kind of developing a pattern. And it was like, it's really easy if you just sit down on the paper and draw it out. But when you're juggling 3 clubs, your mind's a little busy in the beginning. And so to remember that you got to throw now, or you don't throw now, or you watch the person who's throwing to you and see if they're ready to throw to you. Because some of the patterns you only throw when the person's going to throw to you, so you can see that their eyes, that they're looking at you. And so then you would throw when the person's ready to throw to you.
Okay. All right. No. Stand up there, son, Evan, and Father Owen. We thank you. Thank you. That was delightful. You call us to joy. You call us to fun.
All right.